hobby versus career. And I think that, as you know, you've got obviously some amazing presenters in here. I mean, you can tell by the excitement around this workshop that you're going to get a lot of great information today. Let me go ahead. I'm just going to get started, get the presenters up here as quick as I can. Our first presenter was a 2012 elite coach. She's a 2013 elite coach as well from Asheville, Carolina. She's a Success Club 10 All-Star. She's a mom of 2 boys, a 6-month-old and a 3-year-old. She actually told me that in 2008 her Christmas present was to become a coach. She went, once she had gone Emerald, she went Diamond in 9 days later. She's currently a 9-star Diamond with 17 personally sponsored lifetime diamonds. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Myers. Okay, our next presenter is a superstar Diamond 2 coach from South Lake, Texas. She's a Success Club 10 All-Star legend, a 2013 elite coach. She's a 5-time elite coach. She was top coach in 2008, a member of our Millionaire Club, served on the coach advisory board from 2010 to 2011. She has achieved Success Club, now get this, 52 consecutive months, and she's sponsored, I want to say that she's a 2011 Leadership Award winner, and she has sponsored personally 53 lifetime diamonds. Ladies and gentlemen, Dwyer.
Hashtag stoked! I'm doing good too, you know, hashtag inspired. Yeah, wow, look at this crowd. Hashtag summit, hashtag rockin', hashtag turn down for what? Yeah. I mean, seriously, this is like the only place where you can get this kind of energy. Hashtag Vegas, baby! Hashtag what happens in Vegas doesn't really stay in Vegas. Hashtag it goes on Facebook. Hashtag don't get crazy, y'all. Gosh, you are looking fantastic. Hashtag fit mom, hashtag fitspo, hashtag horse training. Well, you know, I got to participate in this little test group for a program. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but hashtag PIO, hashtag Shalene Dawson, hashtag get lean, hashtag dance with body, hashtag body after baby, hashtag had a baby 5 months ago. Hashtag that's right. Yeah. Now, what about you? I mean, seriously, like, hang on a second. Can we do hashtag stop? Come on, hashtag stop. Hashtag thumbs up, thumbs down. Hashtag biceps for breakfast. Hashtag are you kidding me? You know, I like to dabble in them all. You know, hashtag Beachbody addict. You know, I really like to experience it all. Hashtag, you know, walk the talk. And I've really been starting to really lift a lot of weights. Hashtag whatever it takes. Hashtag get huge. Hashtag beast up, hashtag body beast, hashtag unleash the beast. Well, you know, I really do love to bring it. Hashtag I kissed Tony yesterday. Hashtag go rabbit. Hashtag isometrics. Hashtag risque. Yeah, but no, really, though, I'm still taking a course to Insanity and a course Turbo. Hashtag Chantourage. Hashtag bananas, you know. Hashtag dig deep. Hashtag focus. Hashtag Sean Intervention, hashtag motivation, hashtag get Sean area, hashtag Sean, hashtag Sean Intervention. Yeah, well, but you know, we gotta give Shalene some props. Hashtag Shalene loves her bling, hashtag wish I had her shoe collection, hashtag you're not tired, hashtag do more, hashtag do less, hashtag you just got your second win! Hashtag push. So, what else? Well, you know, I mean, I do the business too. Like, there's some things that I do. I mean, like, hashtag I nurse while I'm on conference calls. Hashtag get paid. Hashtag, no, I got time for that. Hashtag invite, hashtag invite, hashtag invite, hashtag so I'll get that, hashtag invite. Yeah. Okay, well, I do a little business too. Hashtag got diamonds. Hashtag I can join Patty's Millionaire Club. Hashtag hubby won't like that though. Hashtag, what else? Psychology. No. But you know, like, I don't think that they're here to be entertained by us. So like, maybe we should talk to them, or this could be a hashtag. Hey guys! Hey! That was good. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys coming. And really making this a priority, you know, to be here in the workshop. We know that it's so tempting to go outside, but this is definitely where you're going to take away the nuggets that you can walk away and really start to implement in your business. Michelle and I are really excited to share with you the presentation. Hopefully you know what you're here for. But before we go into it, I just want to, of course, give you a little background about myself. And I joined the business in May 30th of 2008, so I just had my 6-year anniversary. And I was the first 15-star diamond coach, and I did that in my first year and a half in the business. And at that time, I was pregnant. So a lot of people come up with excuses of, you know, well, I got this and I got that. Well, I had 2 full-time jobs and I had 3 part-time jobs. I had a baby in the bun, and I had a 2.5-year-old, and I had a husband. So we all had stuff. But basically a little bit about myself. Oops, go back. So a little bit about myself. I am from New York, so hopefully you can understand me. That's why I talk fast. That's why I talk with my hands. Yeah, I grew up outside of Utica, New York, small town, Detroit. Yes, and I met my husband on Match.com, so I lived in Rochester, New York with him. We have 2 small kids, and there, of course, is John, myself, and my 2 kids, Johnny and Peyton, and we all do Taekwondo. Initially, we had both my kids started doing it because we moved to Dallas, Texas, so we live there now. And we had the kids start doing it, and then my husband said, well, I'll do it. And then the studio said, well, 4th versus free. I was like, all right, fine. So I did it too. And I also am part of the Beachbody talent team, so that means I film the videos for Turbo Kick and Payo for the instructors. And those are some of my coaches that we always love to celebrate. And that's the best thing, is that really when you can create a family and friends, like you feel like my coaches, I feel like sisters and brothers with them. That's what I really love so much about this. I additionally, of course, run trainings for Turbo Kick, Insanity, and Payo. So I run around and certify. So maybe some of you guys in here I may have certified. Yay! But what's most important to me is being that exact example to my 2 kids, Johnny and Peyton, and making sure that I'm that inspiration. Because everything we do, they do see and recognize. I mean, I didn't know she was doing that, and I looked over, I was like, I did a picture of that. She started copying me as we were about to go into the gym. But I really make that a priority. Family is really important to me. That is my #1 priority, and that's why I prioritize my time, my schedule, not around my job anymore. I gave that initially when I was building the business, and now I've been able to transfer it over to being there 100% for my kids. And I feel that my family is quite incredible at this point. So that's us now. We are pretty super terrific. How about you, Michelle?
Well, I'm not as big of a deal as Christine is. But I'm from Asheville, North Carolina, by way of Texas, by way of Tennessee. Okay! Figured if I said all 3, I'd at least get some cheers.
Yeah.
But very similar to Christine, you know, family is my reason for doing everything. I stumbled into the fitness industry in the most glamorous way. I started folding sweaty towels at the front desk at a gym. It was not awesome. But I fell in love with the energy that I felt, because there was something that was consistent about these people that prioritized being at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. They were successful. They had a drive, no matter what they did, and I wanted to be a part of it. And the more that I participated in what they were doing, I was like, all right, I gotta figure out how to make this full time. I gotta figure this out. But I didn't want to do that at the sacrifice of my family. Because if you guys have ever worked at a gym before, a lot of the hours that you do are conducive around everybody else's work hours. And so this was a way that allowed me to unleash my passion for health and fitness without having to sacrifice the things that are most important to me. So there's my crazy husband right there. Gotta love him. Hey, if your pastor looked like that, would you show up to church? I don't know, that's all I'm saying. And those are my 2 boys, it's Noah and Cole. Cole will be 6 months old tomorrow. Shoot me in the face. And so we do everything based around faith and family and fitness and how it all kind of incorporates and comes in together. And I'm grateful that Beachbody has given me an opportunity to be able to put all those things together.
Yeah. You know, so she's really kind of excelled in her business, and I got to give her props for that because she's really excelled in her business during the most stressful points in your life when you were moving around. James he didn't have a job for a while, and then you moved, and then he had a job, and having 2 babies. And she's actually blown up her business this past year under some of the most stressful conditions. So it's possible, and it's being done. It's just a matter of understanding what exact activity do you need to do to be able to take your life from where you're seeing it now and really just put some actionable steps to make your team working. It's not about you, first of all, because if you try to create your own success and it's going nowhere, you need to teach people how to duplicate and make them all do that, and that's exactly where you're going to have success. It always comes back just to you. So what we're going to share with you is really focusing on that principle, is how can you take those steps of each coach and make it all duplicable. So we have this picture here because we really wanted to kind of dive deeper into, you know, what is a hobby coach and what is a career coach? What we want to say is, being a hobby coach is, what first I want to say is not a bad choice. So for instance, as we kind of explain this and as you kind of figure out your own self, oh, I'm a hobby coach, or I am a career coach, whatever way you want to go with it. Neither way is wrong. It's just make a decision in your gut, being real with yourself, that the type of activity that you're doing is not going to produce that or this. Does it make sense, hopefully? Okay.
Because I think the important thing is that there are hobby behaviors and there are career behaviors. And if you're doing hobby behaviors and expecting career outcomes, that's never going to happen. And so what we have to make sure is that whatever outcome you're desiring is going to be the behaviors that you're doing to get there. So we just want to make sure that whichever way you decide, no way is bad, but we want to make sure if you want to be a career coach, that you're doing career activities.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a hobby coach, that you are prioritizing those hobby activities.
Yeah, exactly like these pictures here. Mostly a hobby coach, being a product user, not really specifically thinking about doing specific activities as you would with a career, you know, running webinars and scheduling out your day. But something I want to kind of really bring into your thought process is this. You know, I'm constantly trying to learn and get better. I didn't do network marketing prior to this. I actually said I would never do network marketing. I said, no way, I don't want to stock stuff and sell my family and friends, ever. I didn't want to do this, but eventually I gave in because I finally saw, oh my gosh, this is already what I was doing, so I might as well start making some money doing it too. And I didn't really get this point until recently. We're always learning. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. She doesn't know anything. I always say that you're still a baby. She doesn't. No, and don't listen. Don't listen. Some things. It's like saying never to my husband. You never, right? No. But you're always learning. We never really have this figured out. You know, we're always trying to learn and figure this out, and there's always going to be ways that you can improve. And this is one area that really I kind of, you know, started to think about recently. Why I was trying to figure out, like, why do some people not move? Why are people not, like, doing the basic activity that we just say is the basic activity? Why won't you just go talk to that one person you think would be perfect for this? Why? I keep thinking, this is crazy. And what it really comes down to is because a lot of people treat this like a side job. They treat this as something they just added on, and they haven't really decided to treat this as a profession. And I want to kind of go a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah, you know, John Maxwell, one of his infamous quotes is that sometimes you have to say yes to good things so that you can say, or say no to good things so that you can say yes to the best thing. And so if you have been trying to add this on your plate without anything else coming off, and you're wondering why you're not seeing results, it's because there's still only a certain amount of time in the day. And so you've got to take time to carve out maybe even some good things so that you have time for the best thing if this is what you are pursuing as a profession.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was having a conversation with my sister, and she has a coach, and I said, oh, whatever happened to her? You know, she was doing the challenge groups and everything, and she goes, well, she got busy, you know, she's buying a house and everything, and in my mind, that's the one that struck me. I go, So, it's life. So why should you like put your Beachbody business on pause because you're gonna build a house? That's a side job. That's a hobby. A profession is, that's your job. So this is something else to think about. We get kind of brainwashed or trained in life thinking that we have to go to college or get further education to choose a job. I know when I was in 11th grade, my guidance counselor told me, okay, what are you gonna do for college? And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't even know. I wanted to be a teacher, but my whole graduating class was gonna be a teacher. So I said, I can't do that. It'll be saturated. So my one friend was going for x-ray school, so I said, all right, I'll go do that. So I went and became an x-ray tech. And that's because I went to college to do something in the box, which we're trained to do. How many of you have been off to college to train to be a network marketer? I'm sorry. Because I did. I went to college. How many of you went to college because you knew that you could take courses to train yourself to be a network marketer? Right. Because no one looks at it as a profession. But once you start to look at this as a profession and you start to address yourself that way, so when someone says, what do you do? What do you say? Do you say all the explanations of everything else that you do in life and then you say, and I also do this? This is a profession. You are professional. Start thinking about this as, like, I'm in corporate. This is my corporation. I have to be responsible for that. I have to act that way, even though we have bedheaded sneakers and spandex on all the time, right? Truth of it all. I miss those sneakers. All right, I'll be there in a second. So here's where we want to go. We want to start to dive a little bit deeper into, okay, let's dive into what does a hobby coach do? What is their typical activity? So this is typically what a hobby coach will do. Of course, they're going to use the products. They're using the products at home. They're drinking, they bring it to work. They're constantly just, being a product of the product. They're not really thinking about it so much as sharing. They'll post occasionally on, say, Facebook, or maybe write a blog or a little video about it. It's basically, very sporadic and random, and without intent, without drive, without call to action. They may use the website, basically. They may go on to Coach Online Office and be like, ooh, what's this? They don't really remember where things are. How many of you have coaches that have to ask you all the time where something is again, and you told them 10 times? Yes. So that's always happening because that person is a hobby person. They're just not really in it. They're not trying to process this exactly. And they're socially involved. They just like to be a part of something. They like to be a part of the fit clubs, the challenge groups, the Facebook group, but they don't really participate. You have those coaches that constantly are rah-rah, but they don't do much, right? So what we want to kind of show you is with this type of activity, so this is the type of activity that you're doing now, where you're not scheduling your day. You're not putting a goal to hit every week or month. If you're not hitting Success Club 5 every month. That is a given. If you're not inviting people to the business every day. If you're not doing any of that stuff, this is what you're going to get. So this is what you can expect.
So what you can expect is that you're going to get some accountability in your health and fitness. If you are putting stuff out there, what you're doing, people are going to be able to hold you accountable to what you're doing. Not necessarily on the business side, just simply on the fitness side. You can expect a happier and healthier life. I mean, maybe you showed up to this event because you didn't know what to expect, but you're just like, I don't know these people, but I like them. Like you're standing in a line next to people and you're just like, hey, I see your name tag, let's hug it out. So you enjoy being around
punch it out, apparently. They're all punching out there.
If I get punched to be in here, don't tell me if you did. But you're noticing some positive changes that are in just your own personal life. You've got that motivation. When you show up to like a conference call and you get like that, I call them pep rallies. They're like the pep rally that you can go and kind of get like a recharge for the week. So you might show up for something like that, but your income, it's going to be sporadic. It's probably going to be low. It's not going to be consistent. You might not even know that you get paid on Thursdays. You might not even know what week you got paid on for. Because you're like, what? I made commission? Sweet. I didn't think I sold anything this week. You didn't. It was from the last one. But something to really think about when you're posting in this area, because you may go, okay, well, that actually looks a lot like what I'm trying to do, but I'm trying to build a business. So one thing that I want to talk about with posting is if you are not wanting to be a hobby coach and you're looking at your posts, make sure that your posts are consistent, because I see it all the time. I see somebody be like, Shakeology is the most awesome thing ever, and it's changed my life. 15 hours later, worst migraine ever. You guys ever seen those? To where you're like, you just shot Shakeology in the foot. Stop it. But think about being consistent, because with all of this, you know, that point to drive toward the business for you, it's probably not going to bring there. The income is not going to be consistent because you're not being consistent.
So, yeah. So let's kind of dive a little bit deeper now into the career coaches. So with career coaches, what we really have to look at is what is the exact type of activity that that person would be doing every day. So right now we're just going to give you a run through, but then we're going to go really deep into each stage of the coach's life so you know exactly what you should be doing. So right here, what it really looks like is, you know, their personal habits, their personal business, and their organization. So what we're talking about right here is, what do they do every day? So are you removing something off your plate, like Michelle said? So when you joined as a coach, did you remove something off your plate because you decided that I'm going to add this to my plate and I want to be successful? You have to decide to remove something that is personal and close to you sometimes, because if you want to be successful, you can't do it all. I'm a bull. I try to push my way through everything. I do. I'll power through anything. And this is one area that I had to be real with myself when I was building this business. I said on the summit stage, I spoke at my first summit, and I said, I don't care how rich I get in this business, I don't care. I'm always going to work for Shalene Johnson's company, Powder Blue Production. Oh, that's gone now, right? But I said, I'm always going to work for them. I don't care, I'm never going to quit. I used to work for her company managing all of her presenters as their director. And I said, I will never get rid of that. But something suffered. The people were suffering on both sides. My Beachbody coaches and the presenters, because I can't give myself that much to these people, especially when I have 2 kids at home. I had to cut something off that I was so deep in my belly, and that was working for Shalene's company. I was scared to do that because of that connectivity and strength I had there. But I had to if I wanted this to grow. Did you have to do that?
Well, oh, definitely. You have to make decisions of what you're going to choose, because you can't do everything. And so for me, I used to teach fitness classes all the time. And you know, my husband is a realist, if you will. I like to call him a pessimist. And so he would look at my paycheck, and he would be like, okay, seriously, like, let's compare the two. Like, you are severely underpaid at the gym. And it's costing you time, and it's costing you money, because you're not putting your time where, not only where it needed to be financially, but I had a team that was counting on me. And when you get to the career side, this is when it gets bigger than you. And when you hold on to some things just because you don't want to let go of them, you're not only letting yourself down, you're not only letting your family down, but you're letting your team down. You're letting their dreams down. And when I had to look at it, and I had to go, okay, if I say yes to this just because I enjoy having a microphone on, and I say no to my team, if I really had to look them in the face, who is it going to be harder to say no to? You know, a room full of people that change from week to week largely, or my team that I was investing in that I cared about. And so I had to make some decisions too. I actually haven't taught a class since we moved to Asheville 2 years ago.
Wow. Well, you did? Cut it out. Cut it out. So let's think about it. So what would you actually be doing? As this, you need to really focus on your habits, your team, and your organization as a career coach. Your activity is specifically about sitting down, scheduling what you're going to do, of course, personally. So what is your personal goals? What is your goals that you're going to achieve for yourself per month, as well as the activity that you're doing, challenge groups, sponsoring coaches, sharing, fit clubs, whatever you're doing. That all has to be written down and on your schedule. If it's not on your schedule, you know it may not happen. But then the other type of activity that you have to do, of course, is train your coaches. You have to create training programs, mentoring, grooming, partnering people together, creating conference calls, webinars, all the scripts and master documents that you can create. That is all going to help support your organization and your team. So as you're growing, and if you're looking at this as a career, you're basically creating like an employee handbook. Again, if this is like your profession, you're creating the employee handbook for your business that you want your team to replicate and duplicate. So we're going to keep going and share with you exactly what I always say, and if it comes down, oh, wrong button. This is one motto that I always run by, and a lot of people who work with me in a lot of my trainings, they know that I don't do well with excuses. A lot of people will say, well, you know, I'm busy, I got this and I got that, and okay, sorry, that's life, that's excuses, that's your choice. As Darren said this morning, it's your choice to not be successful. That's the way I look at it. I don't know, I just think it is your choice if you really want to make that happen.
Yeah, I heard Christine talk about no matter what, and actually one of the most powerful times I've ever heard you speak was when you talked about the I don't need you posture. Do you remember that call?
Yeah, I ran a call called I Don't Need You. And the premise of the call was...
The premise of the call was, because it sounds mean. Like,
yes.
I don't know, like, I'm a nice person, kind of, sometimes. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so when I got on this call, I'm like, you know, this is before I really knew Christine. I knew deep down she's kind of a teddy bear. Not really.
I am a teddy bear.
But I was like, I don't know if I'm going to relate to this. But what she said was exactly what I needed to hear. Because if you are bending over backwards for people, and just to make a sale, does that sound familiar? So where like you're at Summit, you're in a session, and you're checking your emails right now to see if somebody's talked to you about the Coyote Challenge group?
Yeah, oh, she called you out.
Yeah, that's right, look up, right now. They'll be there in 45 minutes. If they won't, they're too high maintenance, you don't want them anyway. But when she talked about this I don't need you posture, it was making sure that you realize that you're in the driver's seat, to where it's, you don't want customers and coaches that you have to convince that this stuff works. You want coaches and customers to go, hey, that works. I need that. And P.S., I need you too. And so when the no matter what's come in place, it's thinking in terms of those people that need you. Because that's what it's about. It's not about you needing them. They need you. And so why would you drop the ball?
Yeah, this no matter what attitude, as I tell my coaches, you know, do you set goals? I assume y'all do. We train y'all to think that way, right? So as you set goals, a lot of people set goals every month, right? At the end of the month, you have a goal of Success Club 5, right? We all do, because we want to start to achieve for the company. But then the end of the month comes, and then you don't hit it. And then usually you say, all right, well, it didn't happen this month, and I'm going to do it next month. Well, what happened to that goal? I don't have goals for each month. No matter what, I'm hitting Success Club 10. Because I got a long freaking record, I'm not letting it cut down anymore. This is my real thing. But no matter what, John knows, like wherever my husband said he's sitting, he knows it's coming to the end of the month, and if there's a month where I'm not getting my 10, I start freaking out. Yeah, we all freak out. Just so you know, every leader doesn't have this nailed, just so you know. Every leader has this in their business too. You gotta feel okay with that. Because there's months where I'm freaking out. I'm not signing up people. I'm barely getting my Success Club points. But you know what? At the end of every month, no matter what, I get it. It happens. So I don't run by what's your goal this month. I run by what's your no matter what. Because you can't go back on the no matter what. Right?
That's right.
So as we go in, we say, okay, if we do this type of activity that we just explained with the scheduling, the calls, the webinars, and all of that. Where's this pointing to? Do you see that laser? Am I shooting you guys with a laser? With a laser. This is what you're going to get out of it.
Okay, so if you are doing these kind of activities and having this kind of posture with your business, you can expect to have the kind of life where you're in the driver's seat. The kind of where you're making the calls, you're making the decisions. You're not having somebody over your head telling you exactly what you're going to do. You're going to have unlimited career growth potential. Like, do you realize that most people haven't gotten a raise in like 5 to 6 years? Okay, how many people have been a coach for more than a year and got a raise in the Beachbody business this year? Come on. Do you know that if we were in a normal audience of normal people, that there would have been very, very few hands that went up? You have a job where you are in the driver's seat, and you can decide the amount of raise you're going to get by being committed to those no matter whats. You're going to have consistent residual income. You know, I actually didn't jump on the Shakeology bandwagon immediately. Ooh, I'm going to tell myself.
Yeah.
So I had an eating disorder for 4 years. It's all good. I'm okay. But I drank a lot of meals, and I ate a lot of chalky protein bars, and I was like, whatever. I don't need another protein shake. I know it's not a protein shake. I've since known the way. Don't yell at me. Okay. But when I first started Shakeology, I learned what it had, and I learned what was in it. I mean, I was one of those people where I was like, hey, it used to be a Whole Foods snob I used to think that you didn't need supplementation. I used to, you know, I learned the right way. So now that I've been able to talk to people, and you think about, I've been drinking Shakeology, telling people about Shakeology since August of 2009. And I've still got a lot of customers that have been in place since then. So that's a lot of residual income coming in from just consistency in myself and never giving up. And you're going to leave a legacy. This is the first year that I'm at Summit, and there are 70 of my team members here.
Yeah.
Which has been, and I remember going to events and being here by myself. And I remember like having to like ride people's tailwinds because it was like, hey, I didn't find presenters, can I hang out too? And because I didn't have any of my team here. And to be able to be here with my team, to see them achieving their goals and achieving their dreams, I can't even talk about how much it means to me. Because I'm leaving something that is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. I mean, when you started Platinum Presenters, you had no idea what it was going to look like.
I had no idea.
And
it's 85,000 large.
Apparently we have a couple here.
A couple here. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I said, oh my gosh, I gotta get a website on the first day. That's it. All right, so I hope this picture brings a little feeling for you. I was thinking about this in terms of, okay, so it's not just about you. We need to figure out how to make our coaches successful. We need to duplicate, because the biggest problem in the coaching network is that too many coaches are left to figure it out on their own. They're told to go Google. They're left to go search the coach online office. They're wandering. Some people don't have support from their direct personal sponsored coaches. I know, because I get those emails all the time. I hear those conversations in the hall. We don't have the exact support and direction that we need. But if you want to make your team as successful as possible, really create a solid foundation of duplication, because that's the only way you're going to create residual income. It's not about how much you can sell. It's not how much you can get for Success Club. It's not what rank you're going to get, because rank is ego, just so you know. It's not money. There's lots of diamond coaches who make nothing. Do you know that? True. Diamond coaches make $18 every 2 weeks. Yeah, because they have no volume in their business. You need to build volume. The only way to build volume is building those coaches, putting more coaches there, and teaching them how to do this. I put this little picture here of a turtle because, I don't know if you know, but when sea turtles, they lay their clutch, the term I used, I found on the internet. So, yes, I watched the Discovery Channel. But they lay their eggs, and the turtles then, of course, when they hatch, they're then left to frantically get out of the sand and get to the water to survive. Now, if they hatch in the day, there's 1% chance of them living out of like 200 whatever that are there. 1%. So that's typically what a lot of coaches are being left for, right? They're signed up, they're given some tools, so you know, put a button with some sand on them, but then they're left to fend on their own. Okay, go run a challenge group. Set one up this month. What the heck is a challenge group? They need a lot more direction. They need a lot more hand-holding. We're making our coaches feel like turtles, having to hurry up and get into the water, and then when they get in the water, they still can get eaten by the predators out there. Because we need to start to hand-hold a little bit more, especially in this infant stage, so that they can have more success. You know who works great together? Who? Not this laser. Sorry, this laser button. These guys, right? Think about it. So ants, obviously, they're so efficient. I mean, they're walking a straight line, they're carrying heavy things, and they're doing all the same type of activity. Why? Because the leader leaves a trail. You know, it's called a pheromone. Yes, I looked it up too. Yes, that's why ants follow ants. Not because they're like, oh, there's an ant. They don't do that. They do it because they're smelling. And that's why. Nice work, man. That's really good. Thank you. Yeah. The leader leaves a pheromone in their feet, and that's why they're following. That's what we need to act more like, an ant. That we're leaving that trail so your coaches all can follow. And when that happens, you're going to build more success in your business. So, here's 3 images. Immediately, you got feeling, right? What do you feel when you see Starbucks? It starts happening. You already know. Oh, I can feel the long line I'm going to have to stand in. I can taste it on my tongue right now, right? You know they're going to misspell your name and call you something else.
I was Jill today.
What?
I was Jill.
Oh, hi, Jill. That's funny. Yeah. It's an experience. And it's at every Starbucks you go, right? Any airport, everywhere. And by the way, why doesn't the Starbucks and airports rush a little bit? They don't. They slow down. They really do. All right, Mickey Mouse. Disney. It's a feeling. It's magical. Everything's perfect, right? You know that there's that expectation when you go to this world or when you experience something in this world because it's set that expectation. What about that Abercrombie fish? Okay. So you know, it's going to be loud music, it's going to stink up like a massive clone, you're going to feel so old in there, right?
And they sell clothes, but all the models are naked.
Yeah! All naked. Like, but isn't that at every store you go, no matter where it is? Well, why is it like that?
Because it's a system. It didn't happen by accident. They didn't decide, hey, we're going to randomly hire these people, they're going to do their own thing, and everybody magically did the exact same thing. Or did it start from the top? And one person had a vision and casted it down, and that experience is duplicated every single time. So that's what we're going to teach you about in your Beachbody business. So I want you to think about it from this perspective. What if you did a workout with Tony Horton and there were no corny jokes? I know! Wouldn't you be so sad? Yeah, exactly. I need that. It helps me breathe. What if you did a workout with Shalene and she was frowning the whole time?
Frowner.
What if you did a workout with Sean T where you could breathe? You think about these expectations that you have with these trainers and how much you would be disappointed if those things weren't there. And so we want to teach you how to be able to duplicate the experience with your business that we have been able to take and to get into realms. So we are going to go back to school, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
So I hope you brought your pen and your paper, or maybe your crayons, because we're starting with elementary school.
Yeah.
So get your crayons out, Crayola.
So what we're going to detail right here. So we have basically associated the Beachbody rank system with school. You know, we're going to start with elementary, middle school, high school, and go to college. So at each level, what Michelle and I want to share with you is where we've learned to have the greatest impact in our businesses. And what we've done is actually created a lot of solid systems, but you can't just create a base system that everyone is going to follow. It actually has to start at each age or stage that you are in your business. And when you establish them strong in those stages, then when they grow up, it really starts to mature the business and it starts to take care of itself. So what we're going to share with you is the exact stuff that we suggest that you guys put at each stage. So if you're an Emerald coach, these are the things you have to have nailed, because if you move up to Ruby and Diamond, you're going to falter if you don't have those first things nailed. So we'll share those with you, but this really comes from such learning lessons. Again, 6 years in this, I'm constantly trying to figure out how to make this easier. This is just a whole process that we boiled it down to, and these systems have totally made our businesses grow. It makes people feel like they have something to check into without always having to ask. So first thing we're going to start with.
So elementary school. So how many of you went to middle school before you went to elementary school? Exactly. So you got to have these things down first. So organization. You've got to track what you're doing, and you got to have a way of doing it. Now, I am not going to sit up here and tell you that there's one app or one process that will totally change your life. Maybe there is, and if you have a testimony about it, you can tell me about it later. But you've got to figure out what works for you. So for example, I have a 3-year-old who is home with me all day, minus a snap. And so I have a little bit of a caveat in my workday sometimes. And so he hates my phone, and he hates my computer. That's a problem in this business. Especially when people are like seeing things and I have to track it down. So I go to Target and we pick out a notebook that is our notebook. And I write things down in this notebook while he colors on the other side. And he picked it out. And so he colors, I write, everybody's happy, it's Mommy and Noah's notebook, everybody wins. And so you've got to have some way that you can organize, not telling you to compromise your priorities, but just figure out what works for you and track it. Now, I'm going to give you something that's for free. This is just quick. So write this down. When you are talking to people, you need to track who they are, how you're talking to them. Is it your Facebook inbox? Is it your personal page? Is it your public page? Was it direct message from Instagram? Is it in your email? Is it a text message? Because tomorrow, when you go to follow up with them, because that's what you do when you talk to somebody the first time, you follow up with them the next day, you have everything here, and you know where to go. So it takes you 15 extra seconds today, it takes you 20 minutes of searching tomorrow, or forgetting tomorrow. So make sure that you're writing that down, how you talk to them, what you need to talk to them about, and your step in following up. Because if you take literally that 60 seconds and write that down and track it down, it will save you so much time tomorrow. So get that organization system.
You know, even to add into that organization, it's really about just where are you working?
Yeah.
You know, it's not exactly the tools that you're going to be using, but where are you actually going to put your butt when you're going to work? I know a lot of people work on their beds and their couches and all. That really doesn't say profession, does it? So I would make an office location, someplace, somewhere. I mean, I watch House Hunters, and they always have their offices in the closets, right? Yeah. So we go love it or list it. Yeah, that's where they always put it. So you have to think that you have to organize your life, that you have to be ready and start to put the tools in place also.
Right. Scheduling your time and activity. You have office hours. These are no matter what's. So again, I'm going to give you a tip on how to help you get better at this. I want you to set those no matter what's for your business. I want you to set those goals. These need to be goals that you can control. I don't want you to set goals of, I'm going to sell this many challenge packs today. Because you can't, you're not always going to be able to control that. But you can control how many people you invite. You can control how many people you present the business to. You can control how many GSRs you actually do. How many getting started right interviews that you do with your coaches. You can control those things. So if you set these no matter what's for your business and they don't happen, I want you to write down in that business, wherever you're going to track it, whether it's an app or Mickey Mouse notebook, whatever it is, I want you to write down what you did instead of what you said you were going to do. So if you have to write down a couple of times, I didn't listen to a conference call or invite anybody today because I caught a Jersey Shore marathon. If you have to write down stuff like that a couple of times, and you really want to build a business, it's very deterring. So make yourself write down what you did instead, and you will have a eye-opening experience to how you were spending your time. And so you gotta set up your Beachbody website. They've made it super easy for us, y'all. Don't complicate it. Just make sure that it's up, it's running, and people can figure out how to contact you and how they can find you. You need a personal why video. If this is something that is new for you, if there's something that's changed you, yes, there is no energy like new coaches. I love new coaches because they're so stinking excited. And so capitalize on that excitement. When you first signed up, why'd you sign up? What changed? What has made you want to join this business? What was it about coming to Summit that made you realize, man, I don't want to do this for a hobby, like this is legit, I want to do this full time. I want this to be my every single day. I want this to be my reality. Whatever that is, you've got to have something where you're getting your story out there. Because people relate with stories. They don't necessarily relate to, you know, just a, hey, this product's for sale, here's my link, buy it from me, because I'm your Facebook friend. And that's what Facebook friends do. No, they need to know your story and who you are and why they should want to join with you. What is your passion? What do you bring to the table? Because we're all coaches. Some of us are veteran freaking rock stars. Some of us signed up maybe a month ago, and you're in here and you're like, she just used a word and I don't even know what that means. But wherever you are, we all have the exact same product line. Christine has the same price of Pio as you do this month. The only thing that you can offer people that's different is you. And so you gotta figure that out for your business. You gotta have a Facebook group for your team. Yes, even if your team is one person.
Yes.
Even if your team is one person. Because they signed up with you. They didn't sign up with Christine. They didn't sign up with me. They signed up with you. They need to be inspired and trained and motivated by you. So set that up so that they can start having some training in place. And then a central location for documents, whether it is Dropbox or Google, because yes, the coaches that are going to come to you, that are going to say, I saw this in the back office and I don't know where it is, and I can't find the FAQs even though it's on the bottom of every page. You need to have a place, sorry if that was a slam, but you need to have a place where they can and they can figure out, oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. And so have a central hub, have a central location where people can find every resource. And guess what? If you can organize your team, guess who else benefits? You. Because there are probably some documents right now that are in the back office you're like, I couldn't put my hands on that if you had a gun to my head. And so if you have it written down for them, it's going to be a place for you.
Yeah, to kind of touch on some of these things as well. These are just, again, the basics that a coach to Emerald, so up to Emerald, really had to have done and nailed before they're moving up in ranks. Because again, this stuff is going to live for you. So for instance, to talk about the why video, it might be challenging for a new person to sign up and be like, all right, now put your face on video and start telling me why you want to do this. It doesn't need to be a big dramatic crybaby video. It really needs to be just a simple statement. You know, I need to be real with myself. I've been falling off the wagon way too many times, and I really need a lot more accountability, so this is why I joined this coach. 1 minute video. It doesn't need to be anything big. One thing that I used to meet at 5:30 in the morning with Chris Reeve, Jimmy Hayes Nelson, and Robert Hudgens at an IHOP. And Jimmy would always get oatmeal, like an oatmeal bowl like that big and egg whites. But we would talk. All of us would work together as leaders in Dallas. And one great tip that he gave was every time he signs up a new coach, he has them do a 7-day Shakeology review. You know, they just sign up and then they tell their public, if you will, I'm going to review this product. I just got it. I'm going to do it 1 shake per day, and I'll tell you at the end of the 7 days what happened. And they do a little video at the end of the 7 days. And of course, they always have great results and feeling. I thought that was a great little tip because that's just a little video that's going to live for people. Video is what's going to live. To go into the Facebook group of what she was talking about, yeah, you might only have one person on your team. And I know a lot of coaches because I train a ton of coaches and I run boot camp trainings and all. The biggest problem that a lot of people have is they keep piling their coaches into a communal, upline Facebook group. A lot of people ask, why don't you have a Facebook group for my organization? Well, first of all, I can't police who's going in it because we have so many coaches added in every week. I can't manage that. That's a waste of my time. So the other side of it all is if you don't have a personal Facebook group for just your personally sponsored coaches, your coaches never get to really know you. They never really get to only hear from you. If you're that coach that's constantly training the downline, your personally sponsored coaches chose the wrong coach then. That's what they're feeling. Because you're not giving them any personal time. You need to have a separate house for just your personally sponsored coaches. And what that creates is actually a lot more connectivity and family. I have one and I call it Velocity. And those are my new green coaches. Yes, you got some Velocity peeps up in. Oh, there's Shanta. Yeah, those guys together, they feel like they're connected as coaches. They're not. They're connected to mama right here. But they feel like family. And they help each other. They're constantly helping each other with documents and questions. They start to act more like a family, but they're all my babies. That's it. But that's going to help build your business. And the central location for the documents. Facebook is a freaking train wreck, in my opinion, with emails and the file sections and stuff. Like, seriously, it's hard to keep it organized. So what I would suggest is Google Docs, it's all free. Go create and share out those folders to your coaches. Dropbox, we use Dropbox, my husband and I, because we can put all these documents in there, and it's all you do is share the folder out, and people can have access to it. So why can't you put a step-by-step tutorial on how to run a challenge group document in there, and you give that access to your coach? House things in places that people can find easily, so that they're not constantly wondering where it is. You don't need to build a website and all, that stuff is for free. So now as we move into the next stage, so what's that activity? What you got to yell it out. What do you have to have nailed before you get to Emerald, or the Emerald level, right? Is you're going to do a video, and your Facebook groups, and your central location, right? So what rank do you have to be to have that done? 1, 2, 3? Yes, good. All right, let's move on. We're going to middle school. So this is the activity that Emeralds to Diamonds need to have done. This is the system that we would prefer that you have in place. So now you're starting to get your feet wet. You've been putting action, you started to sponsor coaches, you're making commissions, you start feeling comfortable because now you're an Emerald or above, and you now start making team cycle bonus. You start to see how things happen. You start to get customers. Things are now making sense, right? Like that team bonus never made sense until you actually made Emerald and made one. So This is now where you need to start putting things into place. This is the handbook for your business. Start creating templates for conversations for your coaches. How many of you struggle knowing what to say when someone says, "What do you do?" That's a hard question. It is a hard question. A lot of people don't know how to answer that. Why can't you, a coach who's already been doing it for a bit, write up just a little simple script and put it in a Word document? Here's some sample ways to handle certain situations. If you go to any of the other training workshops, like how to handle objections and stuff like that, you can get those tips from there. But make this a template so your coaches can refer to it so they know how to put something at least in their mind, so they know how to handle certain conversations. That's your job from emerald to diamond. Make those templates. All right, what about challenge group system? Are you following a challenge group system or are you winging it? Are you hitting Success Club every month because of your challenge group? That's probably the better question, right? Okay. If you are winging it, or if you're inconsistent, if you're not running a challenge group every month, first of all, why would I want to do a challenge group with you if you're not running them every month? I don't know when you're going to run it. So I'm going to go to the girl that's always running it, who's showing me before and after pictures of people that's doing her challenges with her. And that's the other thing. Stop using stock images of Google when you're promoting your challenge groups. This is off topic. Because if Michelle is running a challenge group and she's showing 3 people's before and after pictures that have done challenges with her, and she's not promoting her next one, and me, I put up a picture of a girl with fat love handles, trying to lose that chunk. What one are you going to go with? Join me! You're going to go to that girl, because she's got proof working with her works. You need to get before and after testimonials. You need those, and if it's going to be your best friend that you force to diet for 20 days or so, you can make them do it. Whatever the case might be. You need before and after testimonials to be successful in your challenge groups. That's a whole other topic, but do your coaches know how to do it? What I've done for my coaches is I made it so super simple they cannot mess it up. I wrote out their email responses to people when they respond back. I say, this is what they're going to say, this is what you say, copy paste. I made little videos for each of them telling them exactly the step-by-step process of the whole challenge group system that I want them to do to be able to graduate into having monthly challenge groups where people are buying things every month and you make Success Club the first week of the month. That's it. You want it the first week of the month. If you don't have a system in place, you need to get one. And if you don't have one and you have no clue on what to do, who do you need to go to? Your coach, or that coach above. So start asking above. That needs to be in place by emerald to diamond. Because again, if it's not, you're going to have a real struggle once you get a little bit further. What about the invitation system? I know that they're running training on the invitation system here, and of course I can't go see it, obviously, but if you went to it, I'm not sure what they're teaching you. But if it works, do it. You need to have a step-by-step system for people to be able to know how to talk to someone about this business. I taught this at Summit, I think it was 2 years ago with Julie Boris. If you want to go on YouTube and just search Beachbody, Christine, and Julie, it's going to come up. Someone bootleg taped it. But I taught a system, I call it my 5-point quick chat. And it's a super simple way of kind of a get in, get out feeling of you're just dropping breadcrumbs off at someone's house and you want to follow up with them. That's all. And in a lot of my trainings, I teach this type of an attitude. Whenever you want to kind of share the business, I teach this like, I don't know, do you want to do this? Like, shrug it. I would say, like, eh? Because a lot of times coaches go up to people and they want to sign them up. They're like, Michelle, I would really love for you to join my business with me. Like, crossing everything, right? They're very nervous. They don't know what to say. They start talking and talking, talking. You need to know what to say and go in with this type of an attitude. You want to join? Because not everybody's going to want to, and that's fine. It's not for everyone. So if you kind of let them and kind of shrug it off, start shrugging more and do this face. You're going to totally feel so much better about the invitation process, I swear. But if you don't have one, if you don't know how to tell your coaches how to put the business in front of someone, where they should direct people to, you need to do that. So at Emerald to Diamond, you need to have actionable tasks week by week. You need to know how to invite. And we got to start to fly through some of these. How to follow up and have audios and videos and webinars. So this, and I hope you guys know that they recorded these. Did they tell you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're recording these things. Are going to be available to Coach Online Office. You need to start creating audios for your team, video training for your team, and webinars for your team. So we got to go quick.
Yeah. And I'll just add, make your stuff that you give your downline as detailed as possible. Because you want to be the kind of coach that you're like, man, if I had signed up and that had all been at my fingertips, how cool would that have been? Be that coach. Be that coach. All right, so diamond to star, diamond. How do you get there? You got to have a recognition system for your team if that's not in place. Because what is rewarded is repeated. Write that down. What is rewarded is repeated. Now, I'm not telling you you have to drop $1 bazillion every time somebody rank advances, but you'd be surprised how far a social media shout out, a personal call, a small gift could mean to somebody. So have a recognition system in place for Success Club, for their rank advancements, and volume, different things that they're doing, as well as when they have a killer transformation, like Transformation Tuesday, come on, we talked about hashtags. If you guys are not featuring your coaches to show people, like, listen, go do business with them, because at the end of the day, everybody is not going to want to do business with you. But there may be something about one of your coaches that their story really resonates with them. And again, that's paying it down. That's helping them to be successful. And
you know, where you could track it is like just a simple Excel document.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Track it with them. Group management and training. You know, again, this goes into delving into some push groups, of taking advantage of some coach basics, or putting another training together to help people to get to the next level, to where you don't just create these systems, but you put them in a place where, because like we've made this school, if you have something that they can do every single day to where they learn it, I mean, that's how they do school, right? They make you show up every single day, so eventually when you take the test, you learn it. Put your coaches through that, to where you can give them, do this day, this day, and you're going to get an outcome. You're going to pass. You're going to be able to be there. As well as, you know, team calls and webinars, and not taking all of the responsibility on yourself, but recognizing the leaders on your team that are getting there, the potential leaders that they have. Because how many of you in here have been guilty because maybe you're diamond and maybe you've been diamond for forever, and you haven't had a single person go diamond on your team, and you're just like, I got rotten coaches. They don't know what they're doing. Take those stupid coaches. Very few problems are people problems. They are systems problems. If it is a problem that is happening across the board, quit blaming the people and start taking ownership of the fact that you haven't created a system that duplicates diamonds.
And to finish with that, the training and tracking, same type of concept. So again, maybe like an Excel document, list your coaches on one side and what type of training you have available for them at the top, and then just check it. When they've completed your Getting Started call, you put the date when they did the call. But to have a system so you know where every coach is, and once you have an idea of that, then you're going to be able to kind of, you know, move them a little bit more in the business as well. All right, so as we wrap this up, we got 2 slides up, and we got some homework for you, and there's going to be a bonus if you do the homework. Sorry, Josh, for leaving. I'm going to get the bonus. This one goes real quick, actually, because not many of you are going to be into this category just yet. I mean, realistically, we have to look at it as we're trying to move more people, and it's hard to get into the star diamond level until you really start to make more of your coaches move at the emerald, and ruby, and diamond level as well. But realistically, your obligation when you are in a star diamond is you really need to elevate your leader coaches. So you really have to find the ones who are shining and start to bring them forward and start to have them co-run webinars, or even just run webinars by themselves, or the team call. It doesn't need to be you. You need to delegate. I only run my Clinton Presenters call 1 time per month. That's it. I don't even run the business presentation webinar or the training webinar week by week, because there's a recording of me doing it. I would prefer to feature these amazing coaches on my team who can do it, because that then edifies them. If you never edify your leaders on your team, they're never going to feel that the level, first of all, leadership, like they can do it themselves, but also to start walking with them and holding their hand through the process so that they can have success. It's up to you to start to delegate, take things off of your responsibility, and give it out to your leaders.
And hang on, do you want leaders on the team?
Yes.
Okay, so ask yourself, have you created a system that lets leaders lead? Because if you create systems in your business that lets leaders lead, guess who flops? Leaders! If you create a system system where leaders can lead, you attract leaders. And so some of that can be on us.
Definitely. Create new content. So again, start on it. You got to constantly start creating training, videos, and calls. Constantly researching. A lot of people have this misconception that once you've achieved success in this business, or once you've hit 15-star or whatever, oh, you're done. You're done. You don't have to do anything. It's so easy. What do you got to do every day? There's no stress anymore, is there? It actually is a lot worse, because if you think about it, how big your organization is. You're now responsible to support a lot more people. You want more people to have more success, and you don't want to be that person that doesn't pay it forward or pay it back, right? You want to constantly start helping more people and create that content. Establish communal training and support. So like for instance, I always run every quarter 2 trainings for my downline. People have to apply, and then I select them randomly, and then they go through a 30-day or 22-day training exclusively with me. Because I want to be able to at least touch points in my downline that I may not see. Because if I have such a big downline, I can't see everyone. You're going to get a big downline if you build a big business. Stop thinking about your business being this small and this is all I can manage right now. You have to start looking at, well, my business is going to be ridiculous in 5 years, so how do I need to support that business? Not this business, that business. All right? And as we move into the last, this is really important for me, and I'm going to pass that over to Michelle as we wrap up.
Because, you know, I have my own organization. I have my own team calls, I have my own webinars, I have my own things that I do. But I learned how to do most everything that I do in my business by participating in Platinum Presenters. I jokingly call Christine my grandma, because she is in the business.
Yes, I am.
But don't call her grandma. No, only I can get away with it. But I still participate, and I do trainings for the Platinum Presenters team at large, because we have a Tuesday night business opportunity webinar. That was how I learned how to present the business. I didn't know how to present the business. Are you kidding me? What do you say when somebody asks you, so tell me about what it means to be a Beachbody coach?
Right.
That's about what my first time sounded like. But listening to leaders that had it all put together, I finally figured out my own voice, and I figured out where things go and the things that I need to say, and people's personalities and how they're different. Because I'm touchy-feely. She's kind of bullet points. So if I'm presenting the business to somebody that has a Christine personality and I tell them my touchy-feely story, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn. And so by being able to be involved in all of that, so don't get so big that you don't want to pay it back up to your upline.
Well, because, you know, obviously this is something that is
it's a team.
Well, because of course I experience it. You start to see who actually will start to, you know, pick it back up. It's hard. First of all, when you're a leader and you start to grow a business and you start to grow leaders who start to get up on the stage, it really kind of, it's like this. It's a double-edged sword. You feel awesome because they're having success, but then you also feel hurt because you think that they don't need you anymore. You have to let that go, first of all, because they're going to create their own training and success for their own team. You need to let them bloom. You need to let that go and start to work and bring up more people. But the challenge is when people become really successful in this business and other businesses, is they forget where they've come from many times. They forget that the training that they learned from the beginning was from a source or a person or whatever. And then they always focus on them down. You have to start to think about helping above and around you as well. It's not just about you and your team when you become successful. Really start to offer to volunteer to support around you as well. That's the only way that you can be that leader that people want to follow. Final page, we have homework for you. I'm going to put up all the homework, and Michelle doesn't know, but I'm going to give you a reward if you do this homework. Yeah, can I whisper to you? Yeah, come. Oh, not in the microphone. Oh, how do I do this?
That's what I was going to say. Oh my gosh, we're so together.
Oh. Okay, so I'm going to just load them up because we're on time. Okay, so you read elementary?
Yeah, elementary school. If you are working to become an Emerald coach, if you do a 60-second video, what has changed since becoming a coach, and you use this hashtag and you put it on social media, you will be entered in the prize. We're going to say the prize yet?
Not yet, yeah,
okay.
Because they'll leave. They'll take a picture and leave.
It's good.
That's good, okay. So you only can be a coach to Emerald to do that homework. So that's your assignment if you're a coach to Emerald.
And we'll find out.
Video, right.
We'll check.
What has changed since becoming a coach? If you see the hashtag that you have to use on your video, the Coach Edge. So you can put that wherever you want. You can put it on Instagram, or you can do it on Facebook, okay? So the coach, or Twitter, if you're a Twitter person too. So I'll check those three. We'll check those three. So middle school. So if you're an emerald to a diamond coach, we would like for you to do a 3-minute video or less on how to fit someone in the right workout, okay? A guide of questions. So this is going to be public, because that's only going to build your business when people are going to follow that. That's a big question. People don't know how to choose the right workout. Just because P90X is the most successful infomercial out there doesn't mean everybody should do it, okay? High school. 3-minute video or less on how you track your coach's success. So you're going to teach your downline, other coaches, Beachbody at large, you're going to teach how you track the success of your downline. You know, this is going to be positive for you, because think about it. The Facebook world, they're all voyeuristic right now. They're watching everything you do. Like Michelle said, when someone speaks negatively, they see that, and they know that you're not consistent. How great would this be for you to put a video up there telling the world, this is how I keep track of my coaches. Don't you think people want to know that you're keeping track of people after you sign them up? A lot of people think that you signed and dump them. This is a continued process. So that's positive to put this type of a video out public. And if you are a star diamond, if you do a 3-minute video or less introducing emerging leaders with team responsibility. So basically announcing and saying, you know, Michelle Myers has been doing so great. And video, of course, you can put Michelle's picture up. Say, she's going to start running some of our team calls. Put that video up, or whatever it is that's going to edify some of your leaders. 3 minutes or less. And if you do that, Michelle and I are going to draw one from each category. So one from the elementary, one from each one. And we're going to offer a joint conference call for 30 minutes with you and whoever you all want. Okay? So each episode, we'll talk about whatever he wants to talk about. So we can either train you on a certain topic, or we can just do Q&A, or we can do a motivational speech, whatever you want us to do. We'll decide that with each winner. But we'll do that. The deadline will be, let's do it by next Sunday. So Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's just pick that random time. That's the time. We're going to pick one on each. And we are done, but that's it.